They say that you always go to Raamdeo Agrawal when there is panic on the street. So I'll do the last part, Mr. Agrawal. Like they say in Mumbai, Dalal Street. Ask Raamdeo Agrawal when there is panic. So is this a panic you should buy? Raamdeo ji, is my voice reaching you?
Yes, I can hear you.
No, they say that you buy the fear and sell the greed. Yesterday was greed and today is fear. 24 hours we've seen both the emotions of the market.
Yes.
So, what should one do now?
So, see, if you are an investor, then choice is very clear. You know that you have to bring patience, which is very precious. Everybody loves to be in the market when markets are doing well, but now you have to bring patience because markets have not done well in last 3-4 hours and may not do well for some more days. So you have to be patiently waiting, and your IRR, which was say 30%, will come down to maybe 25% or 22%. So this is the way risk plays when nobody expected the market to fall. Like till yesterday, market closed at all-time high, and today you are talking about limit down and things like that. So clearly, markets have a tendency to go from one side to other side, but that's how it is. And I don't think investor has any problem. The problem is actually for the speculators.
Mr. Agrawal, so there are 3 questions. First, let's look at the tally on the screen.
Yeah.
It could change, it may not change. But as of now, it appears that the current government is coming back with a weak majority. Weak majority. That is the new change. Not majority, weak majority. Is the word weak majority and the current government coming back, is that priced in at current levels?
Yeah, if the information is there on the board, it is priced. I mean, market is that much efficient at least. So I would think that whatever is there on the board, it is priced in broadly. I mean, markets are down 5, 6, 7%. Damage is almost 40 lakh crores of market cap is wiped out. Maybe it is not showing that much in the index, but 40 lakh crore loss is almost 10% of the total market cap. So obviously the losses in the mid and small or select stocks are much higher. So clearly the loss is pretty big. Is it fully done? I'm not too sure, but I would think that bulk of it is priced in.
Second scenario, Mr. Agrawal, change of government. And I'm putting scenarios here. I'm not saying what is going to happen. I'm putting scenarios here, and that's what we are doing. Change of government and no continuity of the current government. Could that have more collateral damage? And if yes, could it be 5%, 10% or even more?
Yeah, that is a very different scenario altogether, and it's not a very low probability possibility. That probability is now coming into the game, and hence even the change of government could also be, right now very low probability. But as you are saying, it's not it is not a zero probability now. So I mean, as the things open up, I mean, first the mandate and then formation of the government. And if the formation of government is not smooth, I think markets are not going to take too kind to that. I'm very clear about it.
At what level, 5%, 10%, 15%, you would say that I will be a buyer in the market and I will buy the fear. I want to remind our viewers that Raamdeo Agrawal was a big buyer in 2003 when market did not like the government mandate, when circuit was down. Raamdeo Agrawal was a buyer in 2008 when GFC crisis happened. So irrespective of who the next Prime Minister of India is, what is that point? 5%, 10%, 15%, Mr. Agrawal, you will be a buyer.
First thing is, Nikunj, it all depends on the stock which I want to buy. If the stock has hit where I want to buy, how does it matter whether the market is gone there or not? But you'll get a lot of time now. Now markets are not going to reverse. I mean, people are still rubbing their losses, and still it is not done. So even if some more correction is there, this is the correction when you can get your stuff at your price. So it's a buyer's market now. Yesterday it was seller's market. Today it is a completely buyer's market. So these terms of trade will keep changing. It is very tough to say where exactly it is going to bottom out. I mean, it is just about few hours that market has been correcting. So let's have some patience. I think let's have some appetite for some more correction. I would say another 5-10% correction on the downside, and I hope it is only 10%. And then I think corporate earnings, I mean, dialogue will change, new government will come, and the corporate earnings, the winners will come, maybe some change in policies will happen thanks to this mandate. So, so market is saying that now the churn will be from capital goods to consumer side. I mean, I don't know, it looks too early to call that, but the market has already taken a call that consumer is going to do very well. So clearly, the momentum which you have, my biggest plus is that the broadly you are still going to get NDA government. You might still you will still get Modi, of course, little weakened, and policies are going to continue. Economic policies are not going to be impacted that much. So why the 8% growth will be derailed? And if 7-8% growth is there, your corporate profit will be very healthy, and hence markets will find its feet.
Do you think there is merit in buying rural-related stocks, consumer-related stocks? Because some would argue and say that, look, that is one end of the market which needs to be now taken care of. The last 5 years was about investment. It was less about freebies. It was less about subsidies. It was less about money at the hand of the consumer. Could that narrative change? And if the narrative change, could the leadership in the market change?
See, something will definitely change because the story is changing. But which way the story change will happen is too early to call. Very early. Because if the same dispensation is there with little lesser majority, I don't think the story is going to change that much and that rapidly.
Second question, sir. My next question is, a year from now, by that time, lot of things would have settled. Indian US elections, we would have seen, how things are progressing on the monsoon front. Next 1 year, we would also know which way the government is going to move in terms of reform process. How do you see the shape of the market a year from now, 12 to 18 months from now?
I would think that with this mandate, we will not have a great year. In terms of the bulk of the time will go in correction, and whatever excess return we had in last 2-3 years, part of that we have to give in next 12 months. I'm preparing my mind for kind of very low return or no return for in near future.
Mr. Agrawal, what would be your advice to the SIP investors? There is a large generation which has come and which has not seen an election volatility. They've come after COVID. The demat accounts have swelled. The SIP investors have swelled. For them, when they see a 7% drop, it just shakes them.
Yeah, but this is the golden period when they should be continuing. I mean, the message to the SIP investor is very clear, that they must make doubly sure that every single installment of the monthly SIP is credited to the MFs. Because if you don't buy now in the corrected market, then in any case, the very purpose of dollar cost averaging is gone. Because you have bought all the way up. Now, on the downside, if you don't buy, then your average will not be, can never improve. So this is a great time for them to continue buying, and if further it corrects, then you should also start more SIPs. But whatever SIPs you have started, that must be continued.
Mr. Agrawal, let's look at the other side of the market, which is PSUs. And they are in a leadership space. Now, the leadership of the market today is suddenly 20% fall, 10% fall. If you fall in 10%, you are outperforming. If you fall in 20%, you are part of the crowd. How will that end of the market move? When I'm talking about PSUs collectively, because the market reaction today in PSUs is collective. Markets today are not differentiating between a banking PSU or a metal PSU, or for that matter, a government defense PSU or a railway PSU. Sab saaf ho gaya.
Yeah, so market loves myths, I mean, myth of public sector company, myth of private sector company. I think that has to be broken down. But markets work the way it works. I mean, they love to put PSU as a separate category altogether and private sector as a separate category, and that's how they pick a stock. So everything goes up and everything goes down. But I would think that time has come where public sector companies should be seen on its merit rather than just because it is a private public sector company.
What happens to global denominated sectors? Right now we have seen a market which has been a very inward looking market. Minus consumption, everything inward looking has done rather well. Do you think there could be temptation to now, let's say, look at pharma, IT, typical outward looking sectors?
Nikunj, the companies which are making money, those are the companies we want to buy. Just because of this mandate of little weakening of the government, I don't think the business trend changes that much. I mean, there has to be a complete change in the business trend for the stocks to do well or not to do so well. So I don't see in the current mandate of 295 NDA, what is showing on your screen, 295 NDA, I think we'll have a comfortable NDA government with a slightly weaker, weaker BJP, but the broad mandate is still same. So I don't see story changing on the corporate side that dramatically.
Coming in, Prime Minister Modi has spoken to Chandrababu Naidu. Now, trust me, when you have a mandate like this, and this is still an evolving picture, all kind of speculative permutation, combination, khus-phus will start. We are not speculating anything, we are not indicating anything, we are simply putting facts on the table. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken to TDP Chandrababu Naidu. The allies will have a large role to play in how the government formation would move, and that is something which is very critical for us. We'll try and see if we can get you in reaction from the JDU also, but for the moment what we have is that Prime Minister Modi has spoken to Chandrababu Naidu and looks like he's committed to be part of the NDA government. That is point number one. Point number two, in the last 20 minutes, markets have recovered by about 200 points. Let's look at the Sensex and the Nifty intraday graph. I'll get Kunal in and perhaps Sanjeev Bhasin in also to see that if there's a trade coming up for rest of the day. So markets, in a sense, it's not like a free fall kind of a market. Look, you had acted and you had reacted. First, markets had moved in anticipation of a strong exit poll. They reacted to the exit poll, and now there is a panic reaction. Fear and greed. Very rarely do you say a cycle of a day of extreme greed and a day of extreme fear. These days market cycles, Mr. Agrawal, are getting so short that you can feel fear and greed, hell and heaven in just 24 hours.
Yeah. So that's because of social media and I mean everybody. The kind of news flow which is there on the television right now. There must be 50 channels which are throwing up minute by minute what's happening, the pace at which and the precision with which it is happening, and everybody is watching. Everybody has a cell phone all over, so everybody is reacting also. So all this, you don't have to wait for tomorrow to read in the newspaper what has happened. So clearly, this is the pace of what we have set in the markets. Yeah, that's it. So that's why corrections are happening very quick, very sharp, and right now I think what we have to see is the formation of the government, and then formation of the next budgetary, the formation of the cabinet. How the cabinet, because the real trouble comes in the formation of cabinet when coalition government is there. So once the formation of cabinet happens, then I think the next phase starts, and we'll be able to take a final view. So uncertainty will still stay. I think the extent of uncertainty today will not continue, but there will be some kind of a hesitation in the market for market to make a big move. I don't think there is any firepower left in the market to make a big move very shortly.
To come back to its rhythm, for markets to regain its momentum, could it be time? Could it be earnings? Could it be a political clarity? What will take for markets to regain its momentum?
So first thing is that there should be political sense of political stability. You know, I mean, we have to, as a democracy, as a nation, we have to put, because it's not only event for India, it is a geopolitical event. The world is watching India. India had really come back in the world stage very, very prominently. So that rise should not be compromised, and so the world is watching, and so it is all. It is the geopolitical. It is politics itself. But once the politics dies down, because politics has sense of lot of noise for some time, then it dies down. So once it dies down, then finally it is the voting. It is a weighing machine in the long run. So what happens to the corporate earnings? And that's what I'm saying. There is a momentum in the economy. If the current dispensation comes, they will make sure that this momentum continues, and hence corporate earnings picture, which is looking not very robust, but looking like 15, 17%, 18% for next year. If that gets delivered, I'm sure the market will find market will be in good shape as we go forward.
Right now, markets have recovered. Mr. Agrawal, really appreciate your time. So glad you could join us. Let's look at the good news.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.